Wait till the music stops. As a society, we've been efficiency pilled. In all aspects of our life, we're looking for the best results by investing as little as we possibly can. Simply put, we want more for less. And I'm guilty of this myself. I've optimized my daily commute to the point that I have the tiniest margin of error on my daily ETA. The trains of New York are too variable for me, so I ride my bike every day, rain or shine, just so I know exactly when I'm going to arrive. And oh, by the way, I'm also getting my daily workout in. I'm Six Sigmaing my own life. It's obviously not just me, right? It's all of us. Efficiency enables the modern household to run, right? Air fryers, ChatGPT, meal plans, grocery delivery, to-go coffee, drive-thrus, Trader Joe's frozen foods. All of these things exist because we want efficiency in our lives. And efficiency drives our economic and governmental decisions as well. In these fields, it's one of the most important metrics where people can understand financial health. And we're seeing this to extreme degrees in things like Doge. Wait for it. You see efficiency invade the modern lifestyle in all sorts of different ways as well. Walking pads, Apple Watch stand reminders, and yoga ball chairs all exist to give laptop people a workout while they're on the clock. And efficiency is especially prized by the types of folks that are here at an event like this, the tech industry. While the capsule wardrobe may be popular right now more broadly, you could argue that Silicon Valley was the original trendsetter. But efficiency-pilled mindset is obviously far more embedded into the tech industry than just the wardrobes. Google is using simplicity sprints to significantly streamline internal operations. Mark Zuckerberg's year of efficiency made Meta as lean as possible in 2023 and 2024 and continuing into 2025. And for years, Amazon's been known to implement the two-pizza rule, which says no team should be big enough that it would require more than 2 pizzas to feed them. An easy heuristic to remember and keep time and cost down, unless, of course, you're hungry. But here's the thing. Efficiency is great until it's not. Many efficient systems collapse. We become myopic and short-sighted in our pursuit of efficiency. It leads us to lose sight of future priorities, future challenges, and future opportunities. Almond farming is a really good example. 80% of the world's almonds are produced in the San Joaquin Valley in California, mostly because the climate and the soil make it extremely efficient to grow them there. But this is short-sighted. Almonds are incredibly water-intensive and not resistant to drought. And they're being planted in California, the state that has regular water crises and groundwater shortages. In focusing on efficiency today, we're sacrificing future resilience. Or standardized testing. For decades, the US and Canada have thought that standardized testing would be the most efficient way to increase outcomes in all types of schools. The issue is, what we're seeing is a failure in softer skills, namely creativity, adaptability, and critical thinking. In focusing on efficiency today, we're sacrificing future preparedness. Brand and businesses are obviously not immune to this myopia. Consider Starbucks. The once revered company has seen demand and stock prices rapidly declining after pursuing fast and extremely transactional approach above creating the third place. In focusing on efficiency, they sacrifice the social experience. And Instacart, the once revolutionary company, has also fallen prey to this efficiency-pilled mindset, pushing shoppers to complete orders as quickly as possible. But online, you find customers complaining repeatedly about hasty swaps, like trading tampons for mushrooms. Yes, that exists. And in focusing on efficiency, they've sacrificed their service quality. Peloton is another great example. Peloton was doing amazing during the pandemic, efficiently squeezing additional revenue out of its bike and digital services. But in doing that, they failed to prepare prepare for a future where people weren't all working out at home and the pandemic was no longer raging. In focusing on efficiency, they sacrificed their future adaptability. What we're seeing is murder by efficiency. When you get so efficiency-pilled that you're stuck in your own narrow system. And that's a weak system. It causes us to make sacrifices on these other key factors, and it leaves companies more likely to be disrupted and left behind. So how do you avoid this fate? Where are we getting it wrong? Let's take another look at the definition. Capable of producing desired results with little or no waste. Waste. Garbage, trash, rubbish, refuse, junk. To most of us, this is quite literally a dirty word, something that we don't want to look at or touch, something that we want to get rid of as quickly as possible, something undesirable, disgusting. And what do we do when we find waste? Cut it, cut it. We cut it. That's what we do when we find waste. But what if they say is true? One person's trash is another person's treasure. Ask artist Justin Gignac, who collects garbage on the fertile streets of New York and turns it into art. What if Justin has the right idea? What if the things we're so quick to cast off as waste are actually the things that are keeping our bodies, our cities, our communities, our businesses thriving? After all, waste is what keeps many ecosystems thriving. Fungi break down dead biomass and turn it into nutrients. Nutrients feed the plants, plants feed the animals, and the cycle continues. Waste is what made the agricultural revolution possible. Animal manure and leftover crops became the fertilizer that allowed us to grow more food, creating a surplus, allowing us to thrive past and move beyond just hunter-gathering society. Waste in our immune systems in the form of dead cells is actually absorbed or phagocytized by living cells, making them stronger and capable to fight off future pathogens. Waste in the form of wasted time is what helps us build friendships and communities. The games we play, the stories that we tell each other around a campfire, all of that yapping serves a purpose. Google's Project Aristotle back in 2012 found that the same was true inside of their own company. Teams that spent more time shooting the shit were actually more cohesive and more creative and more effective. A bit of wisdom that Google maybe seems to have forgotten. All of these things are complex systems, wholes that are greater than the sum of their parts, intricate, interconnected, and always on. And in complex systems, so much is going on that waste is inevitable. It's impossible for any system to be perfectly efficient. And yet, all of that inefficiency is where the power, the resilience, and the things that are critical to life come from waste. Businesses, too, are complex systems. And complex systems have attractors, a state that businesses evolve towards. Making a choice that waste reduction or efficiency are the core attractors in your business has implications for how it will operate today and how it will grow into the future. So maybe we did have it wrong all along. Maybe we should be looking at how we can use our waste. At its core, what I'm talking about is a mindset shift, going from efficiency-pilled to opportunity-pilled. And you may roll your eyes at that idea, but the science supports this notion in a lot of different ways. People who believe that they're lucky will be lucky. Dr. Richard Wiseman is one of the foremost luck researchers, and his work has consistently found that self-proclaimed lucky people create, notice, and act upon opportunities more often than others. I had never seen a four-leaf clover before, and a few years ago, I had this moment where I was like, I could use some extra luck right now. And so I started looking for them, and since then, I found a ton of them. I even found a five-leaf clover. It turns out, when you start to look for something, you tend to find it. And so what are some of the principles for reappraising our waste? What does it look like when we turn our waste into opportunity? Let's put on our Pawn Stars hat and look at some of the principles that we can learn from this. Is it waste, or is it a superior standard? A method of production that yields better results, even if it takes more time or human power. Chef David Chang built Momofuku Empire on this very idea, this very shift. How? The long, stupid way. In Eat a Peach, he talks about this through a story he tells about Major Domo's famous boiled chicken 2 ways. The chicken is presented to guests 3 times, as a full bird, as plated breasts, and as a soup at the end of the meal. To guests, this is a magical transformation. But there was a time where the staff started trying to cut corners and present a fake bird in that process. And Chang quickly shut it down. He was worried about the implications of cutting corners. This long, stupid way was his superior standard and precisely what made his restaurant special. Video game developer Valve got a different superior standard in its own windy, unconventional process. In making Half-Life 2, Valve was determined not to use the traditional godlike game designer in the process. Instead, they gathered a group of people with different strengths across different divisions of the company that they called a cabal. The cabal met 4 days a week for 6 hours a day for 5 months. This is obviously not the most efficient way that you could do this, but Half-Life 2 had never before seen levels of creativity and polish. It's often cited as a transitioning moment in the video game industry. And the cabal approach is still the way that Valve approaches game development. Let's do another one. Is it waste, or is it a stabilizing force? A person or process or system that keeps everything rolling and well-oiled. The Miami Heat were looking at things differently when they decided to keep Udonis Haslem on their team for over 20 seasons. Haslem was, by all accounts, an average player, maybe even below average. He was averaging 7.5 points over 20 seasons. Many efficiency-pilled NBA teams would have cut him much sooner. But the Heat saw that the value that he was bringing wasn't on the court, it was on the sideline and in the locker room. He was a veteran leader that shaped the culture of the team, and he mentored young players. LeBron James went as far as to call him the heartbeat of Miami. The Heat kept him around even after his playing career was done. He's now the vice president of player development. And unlike other execs, he is unafraid to get in sweats and cut it up on the court with players. He's continuing his reputation as someone whose salary might have looked like waste, but he's demonstrating his value in so many different ways. Delta had a similar reappraisal. In the past few years, making the Chief Health and Wellness Officer a permanent role after COVID ended. A role like this can easily be seen as non-essential, right? But in good times, this person energizes and makes sure the health and wellness of the team is working. In bad times, they're protecting against burnout, future pandemic, or other threats to the process of production for Delta. Let's look at another one. Is it waste, or is it a safety net? A way of cushioning the blow in the face of critical failures. This is precisely why we can still track the locations of Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 today. Even though we are decades past their launch, and they are now the furthest man-made objects from the planet. Recognizing the immense distances and the unforgiving conditions of space, engineers design the probes with all kinds of redundant components. If a primary system fails, a backup can take over, maintaining critical systems. Time and again, these redundancies have provided a safety net. Just recently, Voyager 1 had a radio transmitter fail, and a 43-year-old unused redundancy went online and reconnected Voyager 1 with Earth. If the engineers had taken the efficiency-pilled route to this, we would have lost contact with the Voyager probes decades ago. Toyota powertrain is another example. After years of being mocked for not going all in on EV powertrains, Toyota is now vindicated for its cautious, diversified approach that included plug-in hybrids, hydrogen-powered vehicles alongside ICE and EVs. While manufacturing many powertrains is less efficient than going all in on one, it's proving to be a safety net for Toyota as EV sales are slumping and tariffs are coming into effect and threatening their picture. Apple's in-house chip manufacturing is another example of this. Recognizing the fragility of the chip manufacturing ecosystem, they've made a bunch of safety nets into their process that allow them to keep pushing. They are pushing for the introduction of US-based manufacturing, designing their own Apple silicon chips, and encouraging existing suppliers like TSMC to diversify their own supply chains. While these might seem like wasteful moves to some, they ensure that unforeseen problems like natural disasters, geopolitical issues, or production errors are less likely to shut off production altogether. And the last one, is it waste or is it a speculative investment? A seed planted that could blossom into something new down the line. Look at play. Imaginary friends, running around outside, digging in the dirt. All of these things could seem wasteful. Certainly, if you've ever seen children play, it does not look efficient. But how many of us in this room would, given the option, say, like, oh, our children should go learn Mandarin or Spanish, study STEM, play chess? But when you actually look at play, it's a way of investing in kids' brain development and emotional health in the long run. Benefits include resilience, executive functioning skills, self-confidence, creativity, and risk assessment abilities. We may not look at these results immediately. We may not receive the immediate benefit, but in the long term, it can pay off in ways that you're not expecting. 3M embraced this philosophy with their employees. Long before Google did it, 3M was giving employees 15% of their time to work on side ventures. The initiative began in 1948 when post-World War II shortages were threatening the company and the ethos of innovate or die was eternally adopted. The hope was that this wasted time would yield new ideas and products that could fuel the future of the company. And fuel it did. We have the 15% rule to thank for many of 3M's major innovations, everything from multi-layer optical film to the Post-it note. Conservative estimates say that the 15% culture is worth approximately $10 billion annually today. Now, don't get me wrong. There's no guarantee that every superior standard, stabilizing force, safety net, speculative investment will pay off. Business is risky. It's not a 401k investment in the S&P. But a hammer sees a nail. If you're looking for ways to cut it, that's what you're going to find. The law of the golden hammer is a cognitive bias that involves an over-reliance on a familiar tool. Abraham Maslow wrote in 1966, it is tempting, if the only tool you have is a hammer, to see everything as a nail. But if you're seeking waste, looking for opportunity, suddenly the world opens up with possibilities. So next time you're tempted to cut it, take a beat, hold that waste, roll it around in your head, find another tool. Is it waste or is it a big chance? As a leader, changing the way that you view waste will allow your business to make new, to write your next chapter, to launch your next product, to evolve, to be adaptable and resilient. Instead of being murdered by efficiency, let your waste surprise you. Thank you. Appreciate it. If you want to learn more about us, there it is. This way, that way.